Welcome everybody to day 4 of what is of most worth unto you. And today we're going to talk a little bit about spiritual atmosphere. So yesterday we talked about action, right? And moving in a very consecrated, committed way so we can create faith and hope and trust in our Savior, Jesus Christ. So one of the actions, right, is the spiritual atmosphere that we can create among ourselves and our family and our friends needs to be based on Christ, his mission, and his gospel, right? And it will also have a huge impact, that impact on them as you focus on him. The Lord will multiply and bless your efforts, and your work and your service will be perfected in him as promised in the scriptures as you strive to create this type of an atmosphere. One way to experience, I think, this continuing transformation of the family, of your family and my family, is through Jesus Christ by helping them to provide Christ-like service, right? An atmosphere where we find opportunities to serve those around us with our family and with our friends. Sometimes we create entertainment cultures or good things cultures, right? This is the good, better, best principles, right? But I think if we clearly read the Book of Mormon and the blessings that came to certain individuals, like, do you remember the story of Ammon? So up front, as you and your family and friends serve in this way, right? You can apply what I call the purity of the Ammon principle found in the Book of Mormon. It's certainly one of the most amazing stories in the Book of Mormon, right? We all remember Ammon and the arms and the sheep and all that other kind of stuff, right? But he and his fellow missionaries, his friends, right, were instruments in the hands of the Lord into converting thousands of Lamanites to our Savior Jesus Christ, thereby changing the course, literally, of the Lamanite history, right? It was pretty significant. So when Ammon, just a reminder, right, of the story, you all know it, but when Ammon entered the land, he was bound and taken before the king, right? When the king asked what he wanted, Ammon replied this. He said, "I desire to dwell among this people for a time." King Lamoni basically was so impressed with Ammon, right, that he offered his daughter's hand in marriage. But obviously Ammon declined the offer, saying, "Nay, I will be thy servant." Boy, that's really interesting language, right? Even amongst our family and friends, do we think about that idea of, "Nay, I will be thy servant"? So as a servant, Ammon was given the task of helping to watch the king's flocks and to feed his horses. And you know the rest of the story, right, with the arms and the guarding and everything else. In the end, King Lamoni, upon hearing Ammon's acts of selfless service, was ready to listen to Ammon's message, right? I want you to hear that. He was ready to listen to Ammon's message. And those acts of service weren't, how do I put it? You're not just doing it because you want people to join the gospel, although that's super, super important, right? You do it because you really love and you care about people, right? And so he was ready to listen to Ammon's message and listen to the good news that is the gospel of our Savior, Jesus Christ. So as you and I serve because we love the Lord and we truly love our neighbors and we love our family without expecting any reward or recognition, right, and create a spiritual atmosphere of service, right? Sometimes I think we forget why we were given moral agency, and when we don't use it in the most effective way, we kind of miss out on some opportunities. It's not that it's bad; it's just that we need to remember that why we were given moral agency is a gift from our Father in heaven, and the purpose of agency wasn't given to us to do whatever we want. This gift was given us for two very specific things. It was to choose God, to choose him every day in every one of our decisions. And second, serve, love, and bless others. And you have to be intentional about creating that spiritual atmosphere of serving and blessing others. So I just want to assure you today, you and I, that the Lord will always bless you, you and I, for serving others, and particularly when we do his will. Like we go out, we serve others, and we do the will of the Lord, because that's what Ammon was doing. and he had to figure it out. But through serving, he changed everything. That spiritual atmosphere changed everything. So something to think about what could be as most worth unto you this year, and how would you go about doing that? How would you change the culture of your family and your home and your friends into one of serving and loving and blessing everyone around you, your family and your friends? And that action being an example to others, and then getting them involved in that process. Okay, appreciate it. That's day 4 in the books, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.